First, Jake, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm alright, thank you. So, before we get into your latest records, I'd like to jump back a little bit to the beginning. And I believe you at 16, you kind of decided, I'm not going to school, I'm going to focus on music. Was that a risky move on your part at the time?
Was it a risky part? I don't know, because I couldn't see much of a future for myself, like going to school, so I wasn't very good at that. So I thought I'd choose something that was a little bit more fun, and I get to travel around the world, and so I think I made the right choice. Sometimes it's not great to have a safety net all the time.
Why not?
Well, I think it just gives you, for me personally, it gives me a bit more drive and a bit more ambition, because it's like if you fail, then you've got nothing, you know. So you got to make it work or else.
Right. And at 16, I think you started playing at 12, so you had a couple of years of playing guitar and writing under your belt. Where was your confidence level at? That's why I'm asking about the risky move as well.
To be honest, I'm not somebody with a huge amount of confidence, really.
Okay.
You know, I think if anything, doing what I've done and getting to go around the world and play music, it's given me more confidence than what I started with. And so I think it was just I just wanted a better life for myself. I wanted to play music for a living. I wanted to write songs. What
did you get out of writing songs at that time?
Well, not very much. I think people they tell you can't do that as a profession and things like that. But for me, I didn't care if I did or not, because music it was my form of escapism and my way to express myself, and so I was going to do it no matter what, really.
Do you remember the first song that you wrote that you were proud of?
The first song, I was probably about 14, I think. I wrote a song called Tuesday Morning. It's probably on MySpace or something somewhere. Probably shouldn't check it out, but I haven't found it. But I remember the first time, like, I don't think it was a great song, but the fact I'd finished a song and I had a verse and a chorus was pretty exciting at the time.
And if we go from that first song to and I'm gonna do a short little recap of some of the albums. So up to your debut album, how had your songwriting developed in those years leading up to the debut album?
I think it developed quite a lot. I think just before that record came out, I'd started working with some songwriters who featured on the first record. And I think that was because I'd just been playing in my bedroom up to that point, so I thought it was a great opportunity to learn some new things, and I think that's what it did. And I think I think it helped a lot for the success of that debut album, I think.
This might be a tricky question to answer then, but what for you makes a song? What does every song need, in your opinion?
I don't know. Every song's different. That's the beauty of music. It's one of the few things that I think defies maths and science, in the way that it doesn't matter how complicated a song is or how simple it is. It's so subjective, and you can get a song. I just don't think there's any formulas, really.
But then, because I heard you say that Lightning Bolt was written in just a couple of minutes, so when you go through those kinds of songs, do you know instantly that it will be good?
Not necessarily, no. Sometimes it takes to get into the studio and to hear it a little bit with a little bit produced, I say, and so sometimes it takes that. But sometimes you write a song and you kind of have an idea that there's a strong melody or a strong lyric in there somewhere, I think.
And then obviously debut album, quite the success. How did you deal with it? Because you were quite young at the time.
Yeah, I think. Well, to be honest, I always imagined that it was going to happen. Whether it was going to really happen was a different thing. But,
sure.
So I think ever since I was a kid, it was my dream, and like something like that was going to happen and set me up to have a path in music, and it did exactly that. And I think I prepared for it every day since I picked up the guitar. So, and also I think I went and toured America for the first time. So, and the record hadn't really come out there yet. So it was like, it was a nice way of getting away from it already.
And then you mentioned the word escapism earlier, and this was your way kind of to get out of what you were dealing with at the time. So going from where you grew up and then a year later everybody knows your name. What was that like? What that kind of?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, you know, but I'm not somebody. You know, I'm quite a reserved character. I usually keep myself to myself. So, you know, I don't really pay attention to it at the same time. Like, you know, there's some perks to it and stuff, but I'm just happy to just continue writing music whenever I get the opportunity, really.
And I think Hearts That Strain is the fifth album, or no, the fourth album in 5 years. Do you just write all the time?
I try to, yeah. It's my hobby. I'm just lucky enough to do it for a job. Very lucky, and so you know, I want to make the most of it, really.
Mm-hmm. And because you're writing that much, do you know what you're looking for whenever you start a new album cycle or a new?
No, not at all. I think that's part of the adventure and the excitement for me is not knowing what kind of song you're going to come up with. Even if it's a terrible song, it might have something interesting about it, even if it's only me that sees it. But that's part of the fun. And sometimes you think, oh yeah, I want to write a fast rock and roll tune, and you try. Sometimes it might be bad, sometimes it might be good. But overall, I like not knowing what I'm going to create, really.
But so. Can I assume then that you're a believer of you just have to put the hours in and try and write a song? Or is it, because I hear two types of stories. One is just put the hours in, the other is kind of waiting for divine inspiration. So
I think a balance of both of those things is the right thing. You can put the hours in, some people do, because you can try too hard. For me, when I try too hard, it ends up really bad. Okay. And when I don't try hard enough, the song doesn't get finished. So you gotta have that self-discipline, but to the point where it should still be fun, I think. And
especially after the success of the first album, did you try too hard after that album? Was there a moment?
Not really, no, not after that one. I probably tried really hard on the third one because that was a tough record, and but the second one came very naturally. Because I was meant to record a song with Rick Rubin, and he asked if I had any more songs, and it just kind of was more organic. And the third one was, you know, I had different A&R people come and go and things like that. So that was a bit of a tougher album to me.
If you listen back to the third album, what do you hear then?
I like the songs. I think the songs are okay. I just feel like production-wise, it's a little bit all over the place, and I kind of wish that I would have recorded those songs with my live band and gone into the studio so it had a consistent sound throughout, like what this new album I have has got, and with great musicians, and it's probably the easiest albums I've made up to date. What made it so easy to make? I think just being in a studio with a great atmosphere and great musicians. I was playing with guys that had played for Elvis and Dusty Springfield, and like a couple of the Memphis boys, and we were out in Nashville, and I've always wanted to like the music out there, so it was great to be there, and it was just a lot of fun. Yeah, because I think you went to Nashville on a couple of occasions and then stayed there for a week, and well, let's first get into the kind of the Nashville sound, and country music obviously quite heavily influenced from there. What did you think of that music before making this album? Did you listen to a lot of country? Yeah, I love country music. You know, Tammy Wynette and Jim Reeves and you know, Johnny Cash I grew up a lot with as well. So yeah, I've always loved that stuff. I love that kind of rootsy music, the country and blues and folk stuff as well. And how big a part of that is the storytelling? It's a big part. I think for a lot of those guys in country music, and I think there's a lot of that in my first and second records as well. But I think I've always liked the idea of kind of, as I said before, creating a way of escapism where it's like, you know, a bit more abstract in some ways, just to escape from storytelling and the problems of the world. I like to just get away from it all sometimes. But I think, yeah, I think some of the stories are absolutely funny when they're usually about, you know, some guy at the bar and he's, you know, he's split up with his wife and he's drunk and he's gambled all his money away. It's quite funny.